What are 5 can't miss WNBA games to watch this weekend? We break it all down for you in the watch guide to make you a ball knower on No Cap Space. And what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's No Cap Space WBB. Andrew Hobner here with you on a lovely Friday, July 25th. Hope you're doing well. Happy to have you with us and happy to be with you all as well. We have a great show, a new format, new type of video, hopefully a weekly series if you like it. And it's called The Ball Knowers Watch Guide. It is a constant series that we have on our Substack and want to bring it over to you on YouTube as well. But before we do that, want to go through a few of the plugs. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to No Cap Space WBB. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, folks, and we would appreciate any push to help us get there. You can also find all our content on our daily newsletter at nocapspacewbb.com. If you subscribe to that, you get access every piece of content we put out each day in your email inbox, and consider signing up for the Ball Knowers, where you get access to so much more. And be sure to listen to Ball Up Top, a WBB podcast available on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get them. We'd love it if you could give us a rating of 5 stars and a nice review just to bump the algorithm up, because we love having you with us and we love putting on that show as well. Before we get rolling into the guide, want to also shout out our partners at Homefield. Use code NOCAP15 to get 15% off your first Homefield purchase. If you want to take a look on a Homefield site, we have the No Cap Space WBB collection, where we compiled all of their college basketball women's gear. Very cool stuff, from USC to Tennessee to Iowa to UConn, South Carolina. We have everything available for you. We compiled everything that they sell on their site, from UCLA to North Carolina to Texas Tech and LSU, Baylor, so much more. And if you use that code, you can get 15% off. And if you happen to be in Indianapolis, folks, I am serious when I say their gear for the Indiana Fever and WNBA All-Star that you can find in the Fever team shop in Indy is sick. If it did not sell during All-Star, you have to go to it. It is like book the flight to go get it. And we're hoping and excited for the day when that stuff goes online as well. In the meantime, all the college gear is there, and you can find it at the No Cap Space WBB collection on Homefield. Now, let's get to the guide. For those of you that don't know or have not subscribed to NoCapSpaceWBB.com, we put this out every single Friday. It is called the Ball Knowers Watch Guide. We do this for the WNBA, and we do this for college as well. It's the weekend of July 25th through the 28th. And so typically what we do is we go through every single game. We assign it a must-watch score out of 10 and give you an idea of what is worth watching in every single game. Lately, we have also put in a new segment at the bottom of each article called If You Can Only Watch One Game a Day, because we know there's a difference between being a ball knower and being a ball sicko. Pause. A sicko. There's a difference between being a ball knower and being a sicko. And if you want to watch every game and be a sicko like us, that is great. But if you want to be a ball knower, all you got to do is watch one game a day or watch one or two of the top games throughout the weekend. So we made it super easy because all of the games seem fun. I'd like to think we lay out a compelling argument for every single game about why they're worth watching. But if it has to be just one game you can watch, here's what we have. Now, I said I had 5 can't miss games this weekend. There's 4 games for each weekend, right? But there is a second place contender on a Sunday that we'll get to. So let's start off with the first can't miss game of the week. To me, this is the can't miss game of the weekend. If you can only watch one game at all in the next 4 days, Phoenix and New York, 7:30 p.m. ET on Ion. To me, this has potential finals preview vibes to it. Phoenix obviously has to get through the Minnesota Lynx. However, if they were to, in a theoretical playoff world, they would likely see the New York Liberty in the finals. Pound for pound, starting 5 versus starting 5, I don't know if you're going to get a matchup as fun as this one. And just in terms of general team star power, you're talking Alyssa Thomas, Cock Hopper, Satu Sabali, Dewana Bonner against Sabrina Ionescu, Natasha Cloud, Jonquel Jones, Brianna Stewart. That's like 4 pieces of star power per team that I think is going to be really enjoyable. There is a clear size differential in the front court here, and Phoenix likes to play small, shoot the 3. The Liberty have great perimeter defenders. Natasha Cloud is the key primary defender who's probably going to get put on Clea Copper. And I think what Phoenix does really well is they're one of the teams that has a lot of depth at the wing position. even for their more rotational players that might not be stars like Alexi Held, Khadija Laksa, Catherine Westbeld, who's probably going to be in the starting five, they have the ability to shoot the ball, play solid defense. This game to me is not a 10 out of 10 because I think the only 10 out of 10 I think we would really get would be like Lynx and Liberty. The way I assess it is like a 10 out of 10 game is like you have rivalry narrative, you have coaches, you have players, you have like super duper stars, and one matchup on the floor that is like top 5 player versus top 5 player. I think the Liberty and the Lynx are the only ones in the W that really give us that this year. In the college game, it's like when UConn plays South Carolina, for instance, we get a game like that. And so to me, Phoenix and New York, 9.5 out of 10 here. A good contender if you want to watch individual players like 1v1 in that sense. I don't think the game is going to be as good per se. So maybe if you want to do like the first half of Aces Lynx and then do the second half for Phoenix and New York to see how that game ends, that might be a good way to kind of split it, so to speak, because obviously Asia Wilson and Nafisa Collier is box office television. Like those are the top 2 MVP candidates right now. Obviously, the Aces are not the same team that they've been this year. Although we're kind of writing their obituary, they're still 12-12. Like they're still a 5 or 6 seed right now and moving a little bit further up the standings. But the loss to the Fever kind of just shows me like I don't think they got that dog in them this year. And that's okay. I think age is catching up to Chelsea and Jewel just a little bit. And I think Minnesota is going to win that one walking away. But Vegas still has it in them, right? I think that's kind of the thing with players that age is that they have the ability to pull out that greatness when they need to. It's just, can you sustain that over 40 plus games and then into the playoffs where you might get another 15 to 20. But past that, Asia versus Fee, massive. Even still, that's not my 5th game on the can't miss scale. So I will get to that because that's a Sunday matchup. Little slim pickings on Saturday, just 2 games. And I think the late game on Saturday is going to be really fun. Seattle against Washington here. To me, I'm not out on Seattle, but I'm just like, God, the inconsistency is so killer. And the inconsistency is such that I start to wonder if Noel Quinn is going to get Mike Budenholzer, where it's like, you're a really good coach, but can you get it done? Right? Like, are you taking more and doing more with it, or are you doing less with more? Would another coach come in? It's kind of like how Bill Laimbeer had the Aces before Becky Hammon came in. Funny story, yeah, for fans that are new to the WNBA, like infamous bad boy Bill Laimbeer is literally one of the greatest coaching and front office figures in WNBA history. I'll do a thing on the Shock one of these days to like show you just how much Bill means to the W. It's so interesting when you contrast his NBA persona to the type of dude that he was and how instrumental he was in getting the WNBA kind of up and running. In a funny way, I actually think he might have set the game back a little bit because they won titles playing bad boy style. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That was inside. When Laimbeer was with the Aces, they had a really great team, right? They had Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum. And I mean, shit, you could argue they were even better. They had Kayla McBride. They had Asia Wilson. They had De'Erica Hamby. For a time, they had Liz Cambage. And they weren't getting out of, the second round of the playoffs. Bill leaves. Team gets sold to Mark Davis. Becky Hammon comes in. They win back-to-back championships. And now we are where we are now. But it feels this way with the Storm a little bit, where it's like, has Noel Quinn taken them as far as they can possibly go? And games like these are the ones where I'm like, how true is that? Because Washington is a team that is just all youth, man. I mean, you have vets in there like Brittany Sykes and Shug Sutton and Steph Dolson. But the core of this team is Sonia Citron, Shakira Austin, and Kiki Iriafen. To me, I think that's one of the funnest front court matchups of the weekend is going to be Kiki and Shakira against Ezzy and Nneka. And that's why I think this game is worth watching. But it's also worth watching to see if Seattle is going to keep dropping games like this. They lost to the Mystics already. They lost to the fucking Connecticut Sun at one point for reasons I still don't understand. But that is the game for Saturday. On Sunday, these are where the 2 must-watches are. Atlanta and Minnesota is obviously the highest tier and highest caliber matchup here. I really like Atlanta as a potential dark horse team. I don't know if they could best New York in a series to make it to the WNBA finals, but they're the second best team in the Eastern Conference right now. They're overall the number 5 team in the league. And I feel like if you get up to 4 and you end up seeing New York in a semifinal, you could potentially get by them to see this team, right? Minnesota Lynx. And much like it is with Phoenix, this is a narrative game for Atlanta. Like, I want to see you be able to beat a team of this caliber so I can believe in you a little bit better as a potential finals team. So I'm not just sitting here saying this is a foregone conclusion, like, you know, the Cavs Warriors in 2017, where everyone just kind of knew it was going to be Bron against the super team in the finals. And, you know, we would apply that to like Liberty Lynx. I want to see Atlanta win this game because I want to believe in Atlanta as a finals team a little bit. And a win like this would go a long way to making me feel that way personally. This game, the last time they played, it was 96-92 in overtime. And Minnesota ended up winning that game, but it was a really fun matchup. I think the same is going to be said here. The other game that I wanted to kind of have in here as a can't miss game because I'm petty and messy and love a little bit of drama, Aces and Wings. So the last time these two teams met, that was the rock bottom game for the Dallas Wings. That was the one where I had traveled. I was in Michelob Ultra Arena. I saw Kurt Miller yelling orders to Chris Koklanis to call timeouts or review calls from press row, which was remarkable. Never seen a GM do that. Dejanay and Chris got caught on camera, kind of spatting at one another. It just looked like everything was falling apart for this Dallas team. And literally the day after that, they traded for Leah Rue. Since then, interesting thing to note here, Dallas started the season 1-11. Since the Leah Rue trade, they're 6-6. And to me, it feels like Leah Rue was the missing piece here. They so needed a center because Tierra McCowan was just not it. And you couldn't put Maisha Hines-Allen and Alyssa Smith together. Whether or not trading Alyssa was the right idea is still something that I think needs to play out. But the fact that you've been 6-6 since this particular matchup tells me that things are starting to stabilize a little bit in Dallas. Now, what I love about this, Alyssa Smith revenge game, baby. I think that she obviously has ended up in a better situation. And I think Kurt Miller's right, where if you're getting offered a first round pick for an Alyssa Smith, you take it. Like, I'm sorry. You take it objectively, given how good that 2027 draft is going to look. But I love this one as a revenge game. Do they even honor Alyssa? This is like a 2-month, period with her on the team. This game is going to be in Dallas. Paige against, the Olympic backcourt. Asia obviously in the mix. I think Asia is going to absolutely cook because, it's Leah Rue and MHA and Geisel Soder. There's just the caliber of defense against Asia is not going to be the same. But I am really interested, and I will say this for the Monday matchup because that is our 5th can't miss game of the week, New York and Dallas. I'm really interested in this because I want to see how Paige does against Natasha Cloud. These are one of those, like, if you're an NFL fan, like, how when Bill Belichick was in his prime, it used to be this rite of passage for rookie quarterbacks to play the Patriots because it was like Bill's going to throw out a crazy ass wrinkle that's going to mess them up that they weren't thinking of as a rookie. And so the rookie gets baptized by an elite defense and an elite defensive mind. I feel like there are some games in the W that kind of have that given the matchup. And I feel like Natasha Cloud is one of those players. She's just such an elite defender that you are, as a backcourt player, especially a rookie, going to see a combination of speed, keeping a player in front of you, switching, and just savviness that you aren't seeing from a lot of other WNBA guards in terms of defensive pressure. And Paige getting this is always, fun. But what I'm really curious about is we're seeing like more post-up stuff from Paige lately, which runs counter to the critique that has always been of Paige, which is, can she handle the physicality? Is she too brittle? Is she too lean for the WNBA's physicality? But lately, we've seen her doing post-ups. And it's like, if you can hit a midi post-up on the frame that Paige has, I think we should probably discuss the concept that maybe she might be complete in her game. Because the physicality was really the last component that I had, at least, as like let's see if that takes a year or two to kind of fit and get to a place where we think that she can beat. So those are the 5 games that I don't think you can miss. Phoenix and New York on Friday, Seattle and Washington on Saturday, Dream and Lynx, as well as Aces and Wings on Sunday, and Liberty versus Wings on Monday. So that's all the time we got for the watch guide. Let us know in the comments if you like this, if you like the format, if, part of what we do here is like try to kind of be this educational pseudo type of place where it's like, whether you're a new fan or an old fan, we're putting you up on game for something, talking about the totality of the games and trying to get you to kind of watch the totality of the league itself. I know I didn't talk much about Fever Sky here. And to be honest, without Caitlin and potentially without Angel, I just think that matchup loses so much teeth. I also don't think it's going to be a particularly close matchup. I think Indiana's just going to kind of walk away from it. The floor of their team without Caitlin is so much higher than the floor of that team without Angel. And we'll get Camilla versus Aaliyah, fun South Carolina Gamecock matchup. But I just, I think that one is one you can just kind of watch the box score. And if it gets close, you switch over to it. But that's all the time we got for this. Let us know if you like this. We're hoping to make this kind of a weekly thing on Friday to fill some content gaps, and maybe we might do it on Monday as well. And keep an eye out. We got some new content coming here on YouTube as well too. So like, share, subscribe, and get us to the 5K, folks. We are on the road to making No Cap Space the number one place for all WNBA news and analysis. I'm Andrew. We hope you have had a wonderful time listening, and we will see you all very, very soon.